It's Wednesday, June 13th. Welcome to Pastor Bob Daly. My friend Joseph says, "Does God know my metal music is my way of worshiping Him? Is it offensive to Him?" Well, first of all, Joseph, I guess we have to ask the question, what kind of music does God listen to? Now, some people would have you believe that He only listens to the kinds of hymns that we presently sing in the church. And everything else is not acceptable to God. Well, that simply isn't true. In fact, if you were to go around all of the churches these days, you'd find some very different ideas about music. One of the largest denominations here in Nashville doesn't believe in musical instruments in the church. They do everything a cappella. It amazes me that they're one of the largest churches here. Many churches around the city in this denomination, in Music City. Now you have other people who make a lot of noise. Psalm 150 says, loud clanging cymbals, the lyre, the harp, making a lot of noise and celebrating our worship with the Lord. And so, there's a lot of different kinds of churches. Everybody has their own ideas. If you go back to first century Christianity, music was a whole lot different then than it is today in the church. So what music is the best? The music that comes from the heart. Now, I want to tell you the difference between celebration and worship. And this is my own opinion, and please accept it as that. But as I study the Bible, I realize that Psalm 150 is celebration. It's called praise, it's called worship, but it really is high celebration. And, you can celebrate the Lord with almost any kind of music that you want. If you like country, and I'm praying for you if you do, but if you like country, you'll celebrate with country. If you like metal, you'll celebrate with metal. If you like pop music, and I'm praying for you too, you'll do pop music. Whatever style you like, that's what you'll use. Big band, you'll love to celebrate with big band. Whatever it is. But there's something, folks, that all of us have in common. And I would recommend this. The Bible talks about soothing worship. David was one of those that soothed the king. Remember when he was tormented by demons? David came in and played and sang and soothed him with his music. And, when we worship together, that's where we all have something in common. Because worship is slowing it all down. Worship is really bringing your heart into it. And I think there's two kinds of music. Well, we all agree that worship and soothing the heart is a great idea. And we can all do that together, no matter what kind of music you like. When it comes to celebration, man, there's all kinds of music. And it feels good to celebrate our faith with the Lord, too. And Joseph, I think that's probably what you're talking about as well. Is that offensive to God? Absolutely not. I think God has a lot of great musical taste. He likes a lot more music than you think. But, He's not listening to the style as much, and He's listening to the words, the heart, the exuberance, the feeling. And that's what He receives. I like that. Because it means that no matter what I do, and, I can play the piano very well, but I can't sing. When I sing, I sound like a frog. And it's amazing to me that even when I sing, it's good music to God's ears. Because He sees and hears my heart, rather than just my voice. And so that's kind of encouraging, isn't it? Because it means that we can have all kinds of music in the Christian faith and celebrate our diversity in the Lord. But when we all come together, and folks, I find this all around the world, and I've been to so many countries where they're singing the same songs in just different languages. And it's so good to have old and young alike come together and worship the Lord. So that's the cool thing about music. It just expresses our hearts in so many ways. And I hope you found a great way of expressing your heart to the Lord with your music today, too. God bless you. Have a great day.